fair winds to you.
And now we play the familiar game of who's running featured instances today and how long do I have to wait to get a couple of them going. So in the meantime, I'm gonna pick up the bounties on Bell Insel and goof off here a little bit, but I'm keeping an eye on chat. Ideally, what I'd like to get is at least one run through the featured instance with the Runekeeper here for a shot at some light armor, and either the captain, the champion, or both for some heavy armor to help keep gearing the captain out, because I just hit 150, and so need a bunch of gear. After that, it's going to be taking a new 130 Minstrel into Gundabad, which will be cool. I haven't been through there in a little while. And it'll be a nice change of pace. And change of scenery. There does seem to be a bit of a lull in people advertising in LFF for the featured instances. There were a bunch of people about an hour ago running them, so I might have missed a good window. But if nothing else, I'll start shouting and start up a group myself. Oh, did I just miss the salamander? I just missed the salamander. Yeah. Or maybe not, because this person's also sitting here waiting, so... Wow, is this stalker really still on me? Yes, it is. Okay. Just get out of combat real quick. So maybe got a featured instance. We'll see if... Awesome. So that one came up nice and quick, and we got a full group. Alright, so Proto-Salamander down, and featured instance starting up. That's actually pretty solid.
Stoneheight was once a place of refuge.
So we've got a Beorning, a champion, and me on the Runekeeper. I'll take it.
Yet even as the houses burn and crumble to the ground, you notice that it was not
Get my food on real quick. Unlike my champ, this character is not absolutely geared to the teeth, so I do want a little bit of help, you know. It's one of the things I'm trying to do with these featured instances is get myself some good filler pieces of gear. And we'll go ahead and, because I'm going to be nice, DNF the bear. A thing I always forget to do when I'm running around yellow line on the Runekeeper here is I still do have DNF. Alright, one boss down. Nice thing about the featured instances is, if nothing else, at least they're a source of enhancement runes for your allies. Not that I really need them right now, but it doesn't suck because you get something out of them. Hey, Comman, how's it going? I'm just doing some casual featured instances. Oh, come on, right into a stun? That's cheap. Doing some quick featured instances here, see if I can get some gear for these characters. This champ in the group is a go, go, go. Which I don't mind, as long as he can take it. And he does have a decent morale pool. He's got 215k, so he's definitely not a tank spec, but he's not poorly geared. Although, one thing I did just notice, which I had not seen before, I didn't actually look at the champ, is he is that rare beast. He is a level-capped, dual-wield champion. So if somebody's looking to bring back dual-wield. I should probably actually heal myself, because half health is bad if I get a crit. And with the way these guys pull, I almost want to go into a healing spec and heal them, because they are taking some damage. Bone Grind is the AoE, so back the heck off if you're not a heavy armor tank. So this character I leveled quick interrupt. This character I leveled most of the way, and Valard from, I want to say 105 or so, mostly just because I previously have had level capped runekeepers, but on different servers and long ago. My usual rule for Valoring characters is I try and make it a character that I've at least played that specific character to level 50 or past, and it's a class I've played naturally through at least level 100 so that I know it well. This one I just basically did the skip stuff I've done a million times on.
And surely they would not stand a chance.
How dare you come groveling back to me like a
I think Valors are good for people who have played the game a lot and have a lot of alts and have done things like switched servers, things like that. Not so great for, you know, brand new people trying to learn.
You will all suffer the same fate.
Man, I might actually have to Valor or DNF the champ, because he just loves to draw aggro. Okay, there we go. Nope, no flashing knives for you. another round of this and he should pop. Oh, I have the feeling that it just wasted my epic conclusion. I don't think that went through because he disappeared right as it went. Okay, so that is one character's featured instance down, and let's see, did I get any gear? Oh, I got a Tome of Vitality out of it. Of course, it's rank 7, so it'll be a little while before that's any use, but no set piece, just an enhancement rune. I have a sad. I was really kind of hoping to get some set pieces out of here because I think that Stonehide, if I remember right, is one of the ones that drops gloves, and I'd really like to get upgrade for these quest gloves. Oh well, so it goes. Maybe I'll have better luck when I swap over to the captain or the champion and take them through. And I think yep, coming back to the island here, I have messed up my pattern a little bit from being gone. The salamander just respawned though, which means crab should shortly be up. And with any luck, oh, yep, there we go. There's the proto crab. With any luck, somebody else will come by. I just don't like doing the crab by myself on a tactical class if I don't have to. Yeah, +3 is a really fun difficulty balance for leveling. Like +2 and +3, I think is a really good, like, should be considered. Oh, perfect. We did get people making a circuit. I think that's a really good place to kind of have that balance as far as challenge versus not being a slog. Of the different tactical classes, all the light armor ones, it's funny, but Runekeeper is my favorite, and I really did not think it was going to be when they first came into the game. But over time, it has just absolutely been my favorite of the tactical classes. I love the gameplay, and I love the flexibility. So a Runekeeper at +3, I think, would be a really fun... Oh... Dang it. This group beat us to the beast. Yeah, Runekeeper at +3 would be really fun. It would be rough early going because the tactical classes seem like they take 10 or 15 levels at least to start ramping up in power, whereas the martial classes get their power curve earlier. But once you get to that like 10, 15, 20 range, I think you'd be in really good shape. I really like yellow. That's what I'm playing right now. I like it for soloing because you have the mobility and basically all of your core abilities are instant cast rather than the stand still and fire off. So you're so much more flexible, and you can react to situations unlike a red line. Red line does technically put out more damage in an ideal scenario than a yellow line. Yellow line is just so much more flexible and adaptable. So I still like yellow even if I'm going in as actual DPS as opposed, if I'm not spec'd for healing. Okay, there is my crow. I'm going to go take a quick detour back down and wait for the proto beast to spawn. Yeah, yellow, you also do have the extra stuns, which is just a ton of fun. Vivid imagery is really underrated as a tool because it is that point blank AoE, damage and stun, and gets pumped up by anything you have that affects lightning damage or anything else like that. So it's absolutely a ton of good multi-target, get you out of trouble. Plus, just personal taste. I think that from an aesthetic standpoint, I like the zappy lightning more than I like the fire, personally. So there's also that. Right. Yes, all 5 bounties are complete. Good. Yeah, with this character, the goal has been get a decent amount of yellow line gear at 150, but ultimately blue line, like this is the character that I plan to play as my primary healer, and I've been doing that, doing group stuff lately, starting to build out my blue line gear. Just because I like RK heals a lot. I like that kind of rolling HOTS playstyle. At the very least, what you'll want is you'll want at least 1, maybe 2 different LIs. Like I have these LIs here set up very specifically for my my Runekeeper class item is primarily general purpose damage stuff, so it's things that I could use generally in red or yellow, whereas my my lightning runestone here is set up pretty specifically for yellow line. I also have a blue line runestone and a blue line class item that are completely different tracery sets that are all spec'd for my healing. So at the very minimum, you would want different legendary items, either 2 full different LIs, or at very least your LI weapon different. I'm also trying to build up on this character a set that has, for blue line specifically, where is it? It's not in defense. No, it shows it on the sheet somewhere. Oh, it might not show it here just because I don't have anything with the rating. But what I want to get also ultimately is more gear that has outgoing healing rating on it versus just the general purpose tactical mastery. It really depends on if you're going for like all in try hard, I want 2 full separate gear sets, like, you know, a complete set A and set B, or just enough where you've got several good pieces to swap out that are very focused. It's not a ton of investment as long as you have the play time to do it.
It is a fine day indeed.
One thing that really helps on that specifically with the legendary items is that once you've got your allies unlocked, you start gaining experience towards the legendary reward track. Like the current one has about 25 more days. And as you level this up and, basically just, your XP gain goes towards progressing this track, you'll get boxes that have runes and script and traceries and things to help you build out more legendaries, as well as just once you hit 100, it wraps around in 101 plus are just all of these coffers of legendary items that are either script, traceries, or runes. So when you've spent a little bit of time working on that track and getting the items, you'll have a lot of the currency and items to build up, at the very least, multiple LI sets without a ton of specific, like, hey, I am doing this to build up my LIs and like focusing on trying to do something specific, because you gain that XP just by playing the game and doing anything that gets you XP on any character that has their LIs unlocked. So at the very least, getting multiple sets of LIs is not a really huge investment. Multiple actual gear sets, like your armor and jewelry and things like that, can be a little bit more. Okay, so that is the featured instances done on the Runekeeper. I'm going to swap over to the champ real quick. That went quick enough getting them on the RK. Yeah, the reason I'm trying to do it on the armor is ultimately I'd like to get more pieces of gear for my blue line that have explicitly outgoing healing rating. Because when you're looking at the item and stat budget for what they put on gear, for pure healer, you tend to get more bang for the buck on outgoing healing rating gear as opposed to just tactical mastery, because tactical mastery increases your offense and defense. So you get a little bit less of it because it's not as focused. So just because I'm a nerd and am going to work on that, and I am terrible at doing things in half measures, I'm going to try and go for, ultimately build up more specialized gear, kind of like I did with this champion here. This is my main, more or less, that I'm switching to. And on him, I have my general gear that is my either yellow or red line gear, depending on which sword I have. And then I also have a lot of gear that is explicitly for my tanking set that has more mitigations and more defense. But that is not something that by any means you absolutely have to do to be effective in multiple specs. It's really a little bit more of the icing as opposed to the cake, if that makes sense. I see somebody's already beelining for the salamander, so I'm going to see if I can catch them. No such luck. I guess somebody else beat us to this one. But waiting around doesn't hurt. Oh, and it's already back up. This character's general overall gear level is significantly nicer than the arcades I was just on. This is more or less my main, so he has all, at the very least, decent stuff and some pretty built-out allies. I haven't gone nuts and done gold on everything or anything like that, but his stuff doesn't suck. And I am not having the best luck on timing any of these proto beasts out here. Which isn't the end of the world, mostly because what I'm really doing is less trying to get these and more just trying to keep watch for people putting FI groups together in chat. This character doesn't really need the gear from them, but if I get a good piece, I should be able to pass it down to my captain, because I just hit 150 on a captain the other day, so it'll be nice to be able to start passing some gear down, get a head start there. And unsurprisingly, Proto Beast is also dead, so we're just following in another group's footsteps, clearly. Okay, beast down, now to the bird, and then swing back around to the tree, and if I get all 5 before anybody is putting together an FI group, I'll just have to start one up myself. One of these days I'll actually catch good timing on these, but that seems to just not be my lot in life. In the meantime, at least there's the nice, you know, Umbar scenery to enjoy. There's our bird. Okay, crow down, go take a look for the tree, and if that one goes down before a group comes together, I'll just have to do it myself. But it looks like all of these people here also did the tree last. Might have an FI group. Awesome. So I got the tree and an FI group basically at the same time, which is solid.
Even as the houses burn and crumble to the ground, you notice that it was not orcs alone that did this.
It's kind of interesting. It's me and 2 tactical classes. Got a lore master and a mini in here with me. So I'm almost tempted to go yellow, but oh, will you please stop running away from everyone else? There's something about when DPS pulls aggro and then runs around with like a chicken with their head cut off, you are not making it easier on anybody else. It's like, you know this, right? Okay, good. Somebody's looting, so I can start this way. It really is like, okay, I know you do that when you're soloing to get distance. You're playing with other people. You're taking the mob away from us, and we're trying to help you. It's a hard habit for people to break. I get that, but, you know. Try? Like, literally, you have a lawnmower here that you can drag the mobs to help you out. And excellent, I caught the stealth mob well away from his buddies. Which means these guys are easy pickings here. Because they don't get to pop a surprise fifth partway through the fight. Oh, but somebody did that. That's okay. That just brings me more targets. And because all of that is over and I am a huge nerd, I am going to swap specs real quick and change my LI out.
Dance with me, insignificant.
Now that there aren't any packs to fight, so here's his obnoxious AoE is going to be coming up soon. Now that there aren't, yeah, there we go. Bone Grind is not a fun one to stand through, and I am not in my tank build, so I'm just going to let him do his thing here. And step back in when it's mostly done.
Your strength is great. I can't fight you all at once.
Now that there aren't any packs of mobs left in here, I'm back in my red line spec, which is single target damage. And also it's better self-healing than my yellow line build is. Did I grab my right sword? Yes, I did. Good.
I have failed you, Master. I cannot hope to take them 3-on-1. Join me, and surely they would not stand a chance.
Hey, the Royal Bluey. Thank you for the raid. Anybody coming in? I am just doing some featured instances. Trying to get gear. Ultimately, on this character, I'm just going to be passing it down to a new champion that I'm leveling. Oh, and he disappeared right away. That is just cheap. I think I'm just going to be the de facto tank here because I'm the only non-tac class. Which corner are you in? Come on. So I apologize for being slightly focused here, but it's me and a couple of squishies, so I'm trying to keep them alive. Standing in the fire is actually the secret key to improving your DPS that healers do not want you to know about. It's the one weird trick. Okay, much better. So, that fight is done. Get our loot, say thanks to the group, because we are a polite champ. And we see if we rolled loot or not. Because ultimately it's just going to be something I pass down to my newly leveled captain, but it would be nice to have a set piece. And survey says, oh, I am 0 for 2 on getting loot out of my boxes today. So that's a little rough. Just an enhancement rune. I mean, it could be worse. Could be a lot worse. Okay, let me get someplace a little bit safe here. Yeah, so that one really didn't get a whole lot. I got one purple enhancement rune and a bunch of junk items. Not even any of the, like, crappy level, you know, like the 420 something gear pieces to sell. So that was a little bit rough. Oh well. But now that I'm safe, how was your stream? What were you doing? Was it anything fun, and did you have better luck with loot than I am having today? Please tell me yes, because I'd like to at least live vicariously. Oh, right on. Forakel is such a cool zone. The reason I so rarely do my leveling there is because everything is spread so far apart. Like, I love the atmosphere, I love the storyline that's there, but it's always a bummer because nothing is clustered close to each other. You have to just run throughout the whole zone to get from any point A to point B. Ah, gotcha. Doing your deeds for the Lotro points. I get it. Yeah, Jinx, if it wasn't for how big and spread out everything is there, I would have that in my leveling path on alts so much more often. But it's such a pain. Okay, so I'm going to turn these in here.
It is a fine day indeed.
Get my 100 embers.
Wins to you. It is a fine day indeed.
I am coming closer and closer to the point where I'm going to have to actually spend some of these. Yeah, sneakies. I have the journeyman writing package, the account wide one that I've had for I don't know how many years. even with the fact that you can get riding for more or less free at this point, account wide, with the change last year, that is still some of the best Lotro points I ever spent over the course of the game. Because early on, every character having riding for free was just an amazing saving of points if you play a lot of alts. But all of them having that 78 speed is just, like, that is amazing. All right, so I'm going to hop off of this character and I'm going to flip over to my truly not geared captain, and I'm going to see if I can go over 3 on getting anything good out of the featured instances. Now, am I remembering correctly in that didn't used to work outside of towns, but now it does? Because I know the hobby horse, I think they changed where it does and doesn't get the speed benefit. Because it used to be really limited. Okay, so I'm not crazy, or at least not in that particular instance. Thank you. Okay, and also, now that I have a little bit of spare time while I am safe, let me just see if this command is actually working now, because it was not working previously. There we go. It actually does work. All right, so let's see. Did I remember to put my task item carry-all in shared storage? I'll bet I didn't. Nope, I didn't. Oh well. Don't particularly care, because all I want to do on this character is just see if I can keep an eye out for featured instance groups starting in the chat. And if none come up while I'm, before I just lose patience with it, I'm going to go ahead and swap over to my minstrel and start in on Gundabad. Because I've got a 130 minstrel that I want to take in there and actually start leveling. And might have an FI group. Let's take a look and see. Excellent. All right, it's already me and another Cappy. Have fun tidying and tidying, Jinx. Always nice to see new folks rolling in. And And again, really appreciate the raid and anybody who sticks around and yells at me in chat for being terrible at the game. As is likely obvious, I am not really a streamer. I just like to shout into the void and imagine that there are people there. Right, so we've got 2 of us here for the featured instance. Knock on wood, we get a 3rd. And we'll see if I actually get any gear this time, or if I can hit the trifecta of 3 for 3 with nothing out of my loot box. Yeah, it's definitely an interesting exercise, I will say. I've never done it properly seriously. I do goof off with it now and then. It's nice for that kind of extra involvement in the Lotro community, because I've actually met a lot of really cool people doing it, as well as there's another MMO that is still like in early development, pre-alpha, that I got to stream for a week when they did their like kind of open content creator week, and that was a blast. And it got me, like, all of a sudden, being one of the few people streaming it, my numbers were just like, oh, the dashboard is starting to yell at me saying you should do this more often. So I figure, what the hell. Right, well, we got 2 people in for this group, and I hope that the leader is looking for a 3rd. Yeah, that is definitely my approach as well. It's just something that I think is kind of fun and interesting to do, especially in a game like Lotro, where a lot of the time you're doing things that don't always have you directly interacting with other people in the game, because there's a lot of mixed solo, small group, and group content, and a lot of the questing content, the core story stuff, is solo. So it's an extra layer of a social interaction piece on top of, maybe having kin chat or something like that going. So it's neat. I keep debating whether or not to do the push to get the, like, 4 or 5 or 6, whatever the number is, more followers that Twitch is yelling at me to say, you should go do this and then turn on your affiliate stuff. The problem is, if I did that, I would actually feel more obligated to legitimately do this, as opposed to doing it as a pure hobby. And I'm not sure I want to take myself that seriously. Okay, there we go. This person is at least advertising for more. And they found the LFF channel, which is good, because that's usually more active. Yeah, that's basically exactly the way I look at it too, is like, hey, this is something that's neat to do periodically. And also it gives me a new it gives me a piece of software to learn and play around with, which is okay. Now I get to play with OBS Studio and see what sort of weird stuff you can do with a new tool, and I like playing with new toys. We are not having much luck getting a third here. And the leader just disbanded the fellowship after sending a tell saying sorry. So I guess they just gave up on putting the group together. Well, so that's a pretty solid swing and a miss. And while I wait for another group, let's actually start seeing what runes I have, because I know that my allies are in terrible shape on this character because they just hit 150 the other day. So, gonna start filling some of these out. Are any more of these runes? Oh god, I gotta get rid of these Delver's Essence boxes, because they do... At this point, these used to be like the really solid essences that were great to have when 140 was the cap. Now they are so limited because they basically are immediately dwarfed by these Seafarer's essences that they're functionally garbage. Okay, I don't have nearly as many essences as I thought I had, or as runes as I thought I had, but still, we'll level these slots up some. Oh yeah, this one's hurting. I play on the Landreval server. I played on Arkenstone for a number of years back in the Riders of Rohan, Rise of Isengard, and Helm's Deep era, but not long after that, I moved over to Landreval. I think I had a character or two on Crick Hollow because I had friends at work years ago who played very casually on Crick Hollow. But I don't think I have any like actual leveled characters over there. Mostly I came to Landy because just like every time I would see anything about Landreval, the general community vibe was always like it stood out, and I do not regret it. It is a blast over here. It is not the most populated server, especially for activities, which is one of the reasons why, again, having a bit of trouble finding FI groups right now. But the general camaraderie here is second to none. So I'm going to start shouting here in LFF chat and just see if that stirs some interest. And if nothing happens in another couple minutes, well, then there's always my, I'll swap over to the minstrel. One thing I love about Landreval is there's basically always at least one band playing at the Prancing Pony. Like the music and RP scene here is huge. This is a band I don't recognize either. It's like Bright Star? Yeah. That's really cool. We have a couple people in the kin I play with that are pretty heavy in the music scene on a few different servers and bands. And it's one of those things that I'm an observer of. I haven't gotten into myself, but it's one of those just really cool things about Lotro that I think helps set it apart as a community game, you know? Actually, speaking of, because it is the weekend, I'm curious to see if our AC/DC cover band is in the crafting hall like usual. We have a pretty consistent, in the Bree crafting hall, there's a pretty regular weekend AC/DC cover band that stands in here and plays. Not at the moment. Dang it. Oh yeah. Friday nights and most weekend nights, like Thursday through Saturday nights, the area outside the Pony where I just was is usually multiple bands for several hours here. It is a big scene, and that's one of those things that I just like. I don't know of another MMO that has stuff like that, you know? Okay, well, it has been several minutes, and it looks like FI group is just not happening on the Cappy, which is what it is. I was hoping for one more, but no luck. So I'm switching over to the Minstrel, and it's time to head into Gundabad, because I've got a brand new mini that I want to actually level. I've always played minstrels up to like level 100, 105, 110, and then kind of fallen off of them. Runekeeper has been my preferred tactical character class. So this is where I'm just buckling down. I used one of my Valars on this character to skip the I don't want to do this content for the millionth time range. And I got him up to heading into Gundabad. That is a thing I am determined to now do, is work on leveling a minstrel to level cap again. I haven't had a level capped minstrel since the level cap was either 95 or 100. And it's honestly kind of embarrassing not having a level capped minstrel, being somebody who is an enjoyer of music and musical instruments. Minstrel was actually my first class when the game launched and in beta. I played a minstrel in my first go round of the game. Yeah, I know I'm not going to do any of those. But at the time, when Lotro was first launched and was new, I played a minstrel up through the 30s, mid 30s or so. But I was primarily playing solo just because I didn't pull anybody over from my other MMO groups over successfully. So I kind of fell off of that, as well as just due to work and other things, I couldn't keep playing for a while. So when I came back, I switched over to playing a captain and really never went back to the minstrel full time.
We are so near to achieving our goal.
Okay, so we're going to talk to Durin here, and we're so near to achieving our goals of getting into Gundabad. Go talk to Gloin and see how much or how little I remember how to play a minstrel. All right, I have got to just get rid of some of these. Most of these I'm probably gonna actually do at some point in time just to get them done, so I'm gonna pull them into my quest log so that this thing shuts up about them. So you've got a... Okay, how do you like Brawler? That's one. I've got a Brawler in the 30s someplace, I want to say, and I'm still trying to decide if I like it or not.
The prince is right. More dwarves arrive every day.
Yeah, I think I really need to play it more to get to grips with the kind of setup and payoff system. My only capped characters right now, with the cap moving to 150. Oh, I hear that about them a lot, is that their DPS, like a red line brawler, is just stupid. So my only capped characters right now are my champion, which is kind of my main, and my Runekeeper, and and a captain. And then I have some that are in the 145 to 147-ish range, like my Guardian and my Hunter. I had a bunch that were capped at 140 that I haven't gone back and really put as much time in.
I hope you and my apprentice were careful with these.
Oh, I forgot all about this. This starts with the Stolly the Hewer storyline. That's right. This is all of this. Okay, so I want to get all of these off of my quest tracker first, so that I don't keep looking at these things and seeing gray items. Now, is that primarily for your single target or multi-target threat? As far as lack of aggro skills. So I know that for a long time I was feeling that hurt when I was tanking on my champion, but they fixed the bug where your blue line for, I know for champion and captain, I don't know about the others, where your tanking stance, your tanking trait, if you were respecting that, you were supposed to be gaining extra threat from all of your skills, and that wasn't working, and they finally figured it out and fixed it. And I noticed a huge boost in my just general threat generation when that patch went live. Okay, so you're talking about a force taunts, not just general threat generation. Gotcha. Yeah, Guardians absolutely have the edge there. And I'm not sure that's ever going to change on just the sheer amount of gimme that they have. I still, even with that, prefer tanking on my champ over any other class I've tanked on. Champ tanking is just so much fun. All right, who else needs tools? I think there are a couple people. Oh, nope. I thought I had to give out 5. It's only 3.
You have armed my folk with the picks and shovels I requested. Good.
Okay, go talk to Durin. Say, yep, it's time to go break through the ice wall.
That my Longbeards and Ingor Shelruka will break through the ice into Gundabad. Let us march now to Gundabad.
Yep, let's open up this city. All right.
Together, the dwarves of the Kabilaka will break through the ice that blocks our passage into Gundabad. Let us see the progress of the Kabilaka. Swing those picks, my fellows. We will be through this ice in no time.
Yeah, it's funny, in the kin I play with, we actually have a couple people who play dedicated tanks, and like that's their primary thing. So even though I have, like, I'd love to tank more often, it's pretty much always either Jimmy or Louie or both of them who are tanking. So I get shuffled to DPS, which is just kind of wild. Because usually most groups, that's always what you want, is it's people who are looking for tanks or healers, and in our case, we have the opposite.
One more step and you will be slain.
Who thinks to command me?
So I pretty much only get to tank on off nights.
Ingor, son of Vekun and prince of the Jeruka. I command anyone I choose to command, man, dwarf, or elf.
And I am Durin.
It's funny you say that, because my Guardian I hit 145 on last night. I've been working on leveling that as well.
We will have Gundabad.
I like Redline Guardian so much better than Blue. If I had my way as far as what I used my 2 main heavy armor classes for, I would tank on my champion and DPS on my Guardian. Guardian DPS is so much more fun after the rework, where you have more control over moving from basically moving through your chains.
Masters of Gundabad are generous to those who serve them. Gorgar made me a gift of his warriors. Orcs! Slay them, and you will be rewarded!
Alright, I should be able to get an anthem going. And yep, there we go. Anthem of War active. Need to remember to actually use Echoes of Battle.
It seems Gorgar did not gift you his best orcs, Ruveron.
I have loyal servants enough to deal with the like of you.
I totally get that. For a long time, one of my characters I was mostly playing was back in the day when the level cap was, 90, 95, 100, that range. A guardian was one of my primary characters, and I actually found that I was most effective if I was playing a damage spec guardian but using a sword and shield for the survivability, and it was just so awkward because really what you were doing was just outliving stuff and putting your bleeds on it.
I will watch for Ruveron. He will find no mercy if he returns.
Look there!
But yeah, the revamp to Redline Guardian was just so good.
Through the ice!
And moving yellow to be like one of our kin was a yellow guardian main back when that was a main spec, and he was very bummed about losing that as a main spec, but it's such a good support spec now to support the red and blue trees. I've been very happy with the guardian rework. All right, into the Gates of Gundabad. I haven't been through the Gundabad storyline in a long time, so this is going to be fun. Oh, but one thing I do want to make sure I do is... because I am actually just working on leveling this character and primarily doing the main story, not side stuff, I want to make sure I have my boosts running.
I will need your help, and that of every Longbeard, to reclaim what is ours.
Seeing Gundabad for the first time when I came back to the game and Gundabad was relatively new was really cool because I played so much Moria, because I love Moria as a zone, and then seeing what they were able to do in Gundabad with just the new textures, the increases and new things they were able to do with the engine and lighting to make Gundabad compared to Moria was just like, wow, this is mind blowing.
At last, I set foot within the mountain home. I see the warning in your eye.
Alright, so the goal here is going to be basically just do
Durin's folks
the main story stuff.
always have.
I think all of these are still the replicated stuff, yeah. Oh, and I also have to get a different mount on this character, because now I'm back in a dwarf area. But thankfully, I have the boar. Yeah, I don't have a third trait line unlocked on my Guardian, so I just have a kind of thrown together blue for when I need to tank. But primarily I've got my heavy red with yellow as backup. And talking about Guardian, I was actually acting like I was on a tactical class there and running right up into range of the mob. Nope, that's not what we want to do here. You're a range class. That's the one that's on, what is it, like a couple minute cooldown or so? But is the big, like, the big close range AoE, right? Yeah, that one is a blast whenever I remember to use it, which I am terrible about.
Did Prince Durin seem rather overfull of confidence to you?
Okay, so let's see, this one we're doing defeating enemies, and oh yes, debris piles. And it's been long enough, I don't remember which debris pile it is I actually want, so we get to relearn Gundabad. Is it the one that's down over here? I don't remember. Yeah, I just think that they did a really good job with the rework overall of giving Redline Guardians some just really useful tools in their toolkit, which I was really happy to see. See, now I need to remember which one is... Okay, that's my damage shield. Yes, I have not been playing Minstrel in a long time, so I'm relearning what all these buttons do. Another fun one from the Guardian that we've been learning when we've been doing group stuff in the kin is there's the Bastion of Light skill. I think it is. That can go unintended places because there are a lot of walls that will go through, and you can end up pulling from like the room over, which is kind of fun. Yeah, Bastion of Light is basically make your lore master annoyed with you. Don't think I need to go up there for what I want, but there are bats up there, so I may as well. And there's these jerks too, of course. Alright, this should get me 2 more bats, and then I just need to find whichever rubble pile and 1 more cave beast. Oh, I'd forgotten how many auto bestow quests there are in this area too. May as well do some of them, but again, I'm really just trying to focus on the main story quests in here, but picking up quick side quests ain't gonna hurt anything. I'm just not gonna do it as a main thing. Oh yeah, the quests that come out of that the city hub there, where you kind of go into the little instanced areas, and there are multiple quests that that are kind of all in the same area, like the forge area, stuff like that. Yeah, I remember I was doing those on my champ for a little while when I was leveling through. Yeah, more than likely, I'm just not going to end up spending enough time in Gundabad to be worried about to be worried about a lot of the kind of Gundabad specific things in here. I think I'm probably primarily going to play through the main storyline and just kind of hit the high points on this character. Yeah, I definitely... Oh, that's right. I have landscape difficulty on this character. I was wondering why so many of these things had AoE and were hitting a bit hard. That makes a lot of sense. I completely forgot that I had this guy on... what is he? He's on... Yeah, he's on Fearless. But yeah, the plan is probably going to be that this character won't spend enough time ultimately in this level range to need a lot of the 131 runes. Okay, why are you... Is this a bugged bat? This is a bugged bat. But yeah, I definitely had the thing when I had a bunch of level capped characters where I was doing, you know, rotating through everything I could that gave me you know, basically quick progress items. On keyboard modifier. More perches. It still cracks me up how goofy they make the goblin voices. Almost sound like angry cats. Okay, I need to see if I actually have any health potions on this character. I have some. What do I got? Let's see, delete those because those are tier 1 leftovers. That's better. I'm going to be playing with landscape difficulty. I might as well actually have consumables. And I think I got rid of all of my 130 stuff to make room in my shared storage for 140 things and other stuff like that, and then I go and make a 130 character. You know, planning ahead. I'm pretty sure I destroyed or sold several hundred level 130 potions. Okay, so I need to get back to looking for cave beasts and rubble piles, not get distracted by bats. Right on. Thanks for stopping by, and enjoy the making of dinner. Should do that at some point in time. Alright. Bat trainer who is thoroughly convinced that I cannot defeat him is about to be defeated. You know, like you do. myself completely turned around here. 0 of 10 for orienteering badges. Now, figure out how to easily get back down there. Nope, I'm just going to have to go through bats. Well, you guys can chase me for a little while. There are clearly not any rubble piles that way, at least none that I was finding. I think the rubble piles are all on the other side. But here's my last cave beast, which should clear up my map marker some. Okay, that clears that up significantly. And like I thought, it looks like all the rubble piles to search are down this way. Though this might be the one where the rubble pile I'm actually looking for is on the level 1 down from here. Not on this level. I think that's the way this one was. Because there's the rubble pile up here, and I don't think that this is actually the one that has the quest item in it. I think it is the one down below me. Yep, I find little of interest to the dwarves there. I think there's a rubble pile down here that I want. And of course, as I'm watching LFF chat, there have been 2 separate featured instance groups that have been put together and filled up. Oh well. Let's see, is this the debris pile, or is it the one that's all the way on the other side of the mobs? I think it's the one that's all the way ahead of me here. Oh, whoops, that's just a stone troll. I don't actually care about it. Tab targeting will do that. Oh, that's gonna hurt. I think on the other side of these stone claws is where I actually find the debris pile that has what I'm looking for. Oh, but this is something I do actually need to look for here. What is my corruption purge skill on the minstrel? Because I will actually need that Playing in landscape difficulty. Please tell me it's not my coda. No. Okay. One of these has to have a corruption purge on it. And it's got to be something that I'm just completely overlooking. It's my fear, which obviously is not going to be it. Dissonant Strike. Okay. So Dissonant Strike is a corruption purge. Is that it? Does a minstrel only get a melee range corruption purge? They don't get a ranged? Well, that's interesting. Oh, Cry of the Valar. Okay, there it is. But that's still only 5-meter radius. And... okay, yeah. So I just get Cry of the Valar and Dissonant Strike, it looks like. So I guess unlike the Runekeeper, for example, which has a true ranged corruption purge, I just have short range stuff. The flip side to that is that both of these are very short cooldown corruption purges, where the Runekeepers are both 30-second. Yep, I was right. There is my debris pile that had what I was looking for. So now I just need to get far enough away from those stone trolls that I'm back out of combat and can mount. Because apparently that it's going to last a little while. Nope, still in combat. There we go. That only took forever to run off. Okay. And I had to run all the way back over here, so it's going to be quicker to just go all the way back around through town. Okay, back to Glowin and tell him what I found in the debris pile. And hopefully this time no more getting sidetracked by side quests. and figuring out what my abilities actually do.
Gundabad is not one yet.
The prince has charged me with sending dwarves to scout the further reaches of Matukar.
Okay, that's right. So this is already sending me all the way over to the other side of the pit. And I think the easiest way to get there, if I remember right, is going down the stairs that are ahead of me and to the right. So I should be able to cut over from there. And of course, there is yet another featured instance group being put together in LFF chat. So, man, my luck was just rotten earlier. Okay, I think if I remember, yeah, I still need to go a little ways further. Suppose he's all the way over there. Alright, you guys are just determined to make this difficult. I see how it goes. Yeah, he should be basically at the far end of where I'm looking right now. And I think he's gonna send me looking for mirrors next, if I remember right. Mobs should not be able to run themselves up on rocks like that. It always messes up the targeting. There we go. Bosie hanging out by one of the stoned trolls.
Look at this. Even so far underground,
Okay, yep.
this troll has been turned to stone.
Here's where Bosie's looking for, basically sending me to go look for more of these mirrors so that we can help them fight off trolls, as well as make the place look nice. Oh, Gundabad is laggy today. Lag and the Eye of Sauron effect do not mix well. That is a recipe for death. Okay, get the mirror all cleaned off, because I'm helping. And I think if I remember right, ultimately Bosie's going to send me to look for 2 more mirrors.
Ah, very good. That is the start.
Okay, yes. The next mirror is the one by all of the bugs. The one that's a pain to get to. Unless you want to run through the cave that has all of the bugs in it and fight your way through it, which I'd prefer not to have to do. So let's see if I can actually remember what the non-cave way to get there is. But I think you have to go all the way around up here. So there's a way to get to the other side and not go through the cave. But we'll do the cave. I'm not going to do the side quest, however, because I am just going to run through and get the mirror. So long as these guys don't kill me. Let's see how many are chasing me. Just 2. That could have gone a lot worse. So here's mirror number 2. And one more mirror. I think this is the one that's all the way down at the bottom of the... Yeah, so find my stairs down. Oh, nope, it's this one. Then I have to go down and find the mirror that he beats me to. Okay, now I think the next mirror is the one where he's already beaten me to it. But I should be able to pick up a stable master here to make sure I get my stuff unlocked for travel.
Yes?
And then down here is where he's already beat me to the mirror. Okay.
I should have known you would adventure here and fear nothing. The sight of all these trolls turned to stone has raised in me a curiosity.
Okay, so we go look for places where the trolls might be coming from now. Continuing on that theme of making this place troll-proof. The first one should be at the far corner in here. I do not want to mess with the Gundabad Raiders if I can help it. We find nothing of value in the pile of troll debris. What a shock. Okay, so now we go look for the second possible troll horde location, which I think is all the way over on... Yep, all the way over on the other side here. So mount up, but I should also be able to go grab that stable master there and unlock it while I'm on my way. So it's a good 2 birds, 1 stone scenario. Let's see. Technically, I probably should actually be doing some more of the side quests in here. Nope, wrong way. Just to get the reputation to start buying those travel skills. Because they are really useful in here when you can start buying the return to X, Y, and Z skills. This was just absolutely not the route I should have been taken through here, clearly. Mistakes were made. Because this is back to the bat spot. But I should just be able to run these guys all off. Hopefully I should be... Oh. And then I pick up a cave beast, of course. Stop and wave at other players. Gotta be polite. Alright, I think I should... Yeah, there we go. I should be able to pick up the road here. And ideally, just ride through all of this nonsense. The goal here is to do as little stopping and fighting as possible and just knock the quests out. So I'm going to want to get up the stairs here to unlock the stables all the way up at the top before I go to the troll horde. One of the things that they really did a good job of in Gundabad that they weren't able to do as much in Moria just due to limitations at the time was all of the verticality of their design here. With all the various different levels and terraces, they were really able to take that to a much higher level, putting Gundabad together, which is just another way that it stands out. There we go. So this should connect to the other two areas I've got unlocked. Excellent. Now, backtrack and get the troll horde. Which I think is on this level if I cross over. Because there'll be an NPC who's going to try and give me some quests, as well as I think an auto-bestowed quest or two. Yeah, we have burn the mushrooms and stomp the grubs. And that cave beast is just really persistent. So, I'm sorry, Mr. Cave Beast, this was a bad idea. But I'm gonna have to hurt you. Hey, Uptime, welcome on in. So I'm still kind of trying to determine where I want to have the difficulty on this minstrel. Initially, this is a minstrel that I was leveling. I leveled him to the mid 50s or so, but I valored him to 130, so he's a fresh 130 just because I haven't had a leveled minstrel in a long time, and I just decided it was silly that I didn't have one because I had a level cap minstrel back when the level cap was in the 95 to 100 range. So, I've gone down that road before. So in kind of the fresh 130 gear and doing Gundabad, I'm not sure if I'm going to leave him at 130 for leveling. I might drop it down just because I'm really trying to simply go through the content with this character more than do it as a challenge run. I do think that the martial classes, the physical classes, overall do better, in my experience, in the landscape difficulty settings than the tactical classes do. The tactical classes just feel like they're more gear dependent in that in those difficulty ranges, and your margin for error is slimmer, just due to your lower mitigations. So I love difficulty 3 on my mid-level leveling captain that I run sometimes, and I love it on my champion when I put him up to 2, 3, 4 range. I'm probably going to drop it down on this minstrel. I'd honestly forgotten that I had it set while I was leveling him in the lower ranges, which is the only reason it's still on right now. Is that I took him into Gundabad forgetting that I still had it set. Whoops. So it's definitely doable, but Mini's a bit of a slog at that. Yeah, one of these days I have that planned as a run to pick a class, I'm not sure what yet, and do that, level 9 to 130 title run. I'm just not sure which one I want to do yet. I'm probably gonna cop out and do it on a champion just because that is it's the class I'm most familiar with. It's kind of my main class, so to speak. So I have that kind of built-in thing where I'd be doing it on a class that I'm very well acquainted with, whereas some other classes I'm much rustier on. Now, I do think that if you were doing it as a duo with somebody, like I know a lot of people have done like dedicated duo runs through that. I think a minstrel would be a really good choice to pair with somebody else going through that, just due to the ranged punch that they have and the amount of support you can provide. Where basically you can give somebody else an increased margin of error. But for yourself, they're just a little bit too squishy for being my first choice to do that. If I was picking a tactical class to do that in, I would honestly probably do it on the Runekeeper. And part of that is, again, just because it is a class I play a lot and I'm familiar with, but I like the amount of versatility and ability to get yourself out of trouble that the RK has, that I think would go well with the increased difficulty. Talking to other people who have done it, it seems like a lot of people's prime choices for doing the difficulty runs. A lot of people like the Beorning to do that, just for the sheer survivability with damage output that they have. And people who are Warden players like doing it on the Warden as well, just because the Warden is basically their own, one-person small fellowship. Warden is just not my thing, though, so... I totally just stood in that Eye of Sauron and ate it. Thank you, Self-Heals. The thing with the title and 130 is with the landscape difficulty setting, it's not a not dying. The only non-dying titles there are the, you know, unscathed and wary up through undying, which I think stops at 18 or 19, something like that. There are titles for if you level a character on landscape difficulty level 3 or higher and never turn it down below that during the leveling run. You have to turn it on, I believe, by level 10 and never turn it off. There's one title you get for leveling from 10 to 50 and there without having the difficulty ever turned off, and there's another title you get from leveling 50 to 130. It's not without dying from those level ranges, it's just doing your entire leveling in those level ranges with difficulty enabled. Does that make sense? I think I explained that very poorly. But basically the idea is if you want those titles, you want to turn it on by level 10 or so and never turn your difficulty down. I don't know if they fixed it, but people were reporting early on that there was a bug where if you started at a higher difficulty and then turned it down to something that was still in the difficulty range, some people were saying they lost it. It really depends. Part of it depends on just, you know, where you are leveling range and in your gearing as well. Different classes, it feels more impactful. New player, if you want to play through the different content and actually have the zones unlocked, you do actually have to purchase the various expansions. Now they do have a bundle in the store that's the first 4 or 5 expansions all in one for a low price. I think it's something like 30 or 40 bucks, but it goes on sale a lot. And then past that, things like War of the Three Peaks, etc., are all their own purchases. They go on sale a ton though, so it's worth when you're around that level 90 range or so and you're starting to get into needing expansions rather than the stuff that's in the base game, because all the way up through Helm's Deep is in the free content now. At that point in time, it's worth just watching for store sales. Okay, yep, that was all of what I needed. But yeah, the difficulty spike of level 3 really just depends on have you been keeping up with things like your gear, your virtues, all of that kind of stuff. It definitely makes it so that it feels noticeable, but not fully being like into a slog, like, oh, this is gonna take forever. Goblin coin purses, yes, I should be able to get these down one level below me. I really think that for somebody who is experienced with the game, like it's not their, whoa, that's not where I want to go. It's not their first character, they're just learning the game or something like that. They've played through and they're not just relying on quest or dropped gear. They have a source of access to decent gear, either crafted or embers or something. Difficulty 2 or 3 is kind of the new default. I want a bit of a challenge but still be good. Yeah, at this point in time, the core content through the level 95 area, so basically all the stuff that was like Helm's Deep, is included in free to play. And past that, it's buying expansions. I just don't remember what the first expansion is past that. Take a quick peek. Okay, yeah, so the first expansion where you won't have access to, at the very least, the base content would be when you go from Helm's Deep and would start on the Mordor content, which would be going through the Grey Wastes and into Mordor through the Black Gate. That would be the point where you would be going from included content into needing expansion content to keep going. And the first couple of expansions in that level range, because that kind of expansion range would be Mordor into Minas Morgul into War of the Three Peaks. Those 3 expansion packs in particular, I see go on sale in the store pretty clearly. Yeah, the way I look at Valars is I definitely don't look at those as items that are there for new players or even kind of casual regular players or leveling players. Valors I really think are priced the way they are because they're intended for people who play the game a ton, pile up points, play a lot of vaults, have been around for a long time, and are bringing somebody brand new up. So it's usually, on most of the expansions, it's the mid-level or higher tier of that expansion that comes with a Valar. Although I know that, so I'm looking at the wiki right now. The Mordor expansion, all of the different versions of that look like they come with a 105 Valar. And Minas Morgul is where the collector's edition or beyond comes with a 120 Valar. Three Peaks is, I believe, the Three Peaks I don't think has a Valar in it because Three Peaks was a mini expansion, yeah. And then Gundabad, also, it's only the collector's edition or higher that comes with the Valar. For anybody who's curious, the wiki page that I just linked there has the various different expansion packs and what the different versions of them come with. Now, I don't know if they have anything coming up for the 17th anniversary of the game, which is in a couple months, I want to say. They were talking about it in their roadmap discussion earlier. Orion was on their Lotro stream talking about it. Because that's close enough to now, I always recommend, rather than buying an expansion this close to an anniversary, wait and see if they're going to give away expansions via a code during the anniversary event. I know they've done it for some of the previous ones. And in the 15th anniversary, a couple years ago, they gave away several of the expansions, including, if you're a VIP, the collector's edition version of them. So you got a ton of bonus content for free if you claimed during the anniversary event. So with that coming up really soon, I would highly advise holding off unless you really want to start down higher level content right now and don't want to wait. Wait for the anniversary and see if they're announcing more giveaways then. Because the way I always look at it is see what they're going to give away for free, and then take money that you would have spent on those expansions or whatever else, and find something else that you can buy in the store for that or a similar amount of money, so that you're still supporting the game, but you're getting the most bang for your buck. Man, I am so bad at remembering to keep an anthem up. This is how you can tell I have not played a mini in a long time. Okay. I need to stop killing goblins and go turn these purses in. So I need to go all the way back down there. I'm gonna cheat and take a horse most of the way. Oh, seriously, goblin? Yeah, just knowing that the anniversary event is coming up and not too long in the scope of things, I'd always recommend seeing what they're going to be giving away during that, so that you can plan out where you want to spend your. Was it end of April? I thought it was in February for some reason. Okay, so that's longer. That's further away than I thought it was. That's my bad. So yeah, that's still, 3 months away or so.
Durin's folk shall endure, as we always have.
But the way I look at it is I always like to see what they're going to be doing as far as, giveaways or things that you don't have to pay for, so that you can still, I always recommend putting money toward, throwing money towards a game that you enjoy. Like, I know there are people who want everything all for free, and unless it's just a question of, you don't have the means, I always recommend and like to support games. I just want to get the most bang for my buck when I do it.
Oh, I am sorry, my friend.
Yep, Gundabad is not Moria, you're right. We are not going to screw up as bad here as we did there.
But enough of my own troubles.
Okay, so he's sending us back to Durin. And let's see. So this is good. This is still... Oop, I want to keep rolling this buff. One of the other reasons why I'm kind of quick leveling this character is from just doing various wrapper quests and things over the years. I have so many of these experience boosts that now that the level cap has been raised, I want to find any excuse to use these things and level characters and get them out of my inventory, because they have just been clogging up my shared inventory and character banks by the stack. Hey, Cycle 6, welcome on in. The current level cap is level 150. So there is a long road from the start to the end game, which one of the good things about Lotro is that it is much more about the journey than the destination. Which, when you're staring down the barrel of 150 levels from start to finish, is a good thing.
Rowan found you then. Very good.
But yeah, so right now this character I just got to 131, so I've still got 19 levels to go. So that'll be leveling through the Gundabad content, which is where I am right now. And then coming out of Gundabad and going through the King's Gondor and into the Corsairs of Umbar content after that. Okay, so we're going to go into Steep Set, our little mini story instance here.
Steep Set has always been the high seat of the Lord of Gundabad.
Do I have food? Yes, I have some food someplace. Another thing I've been terrible about is actually using buffs on this character. Okay, so Prince Durin has taken it into his mind that it is time to go clear the way into Steep Set. And of course, what he means by that is it's time for us to clear the way into Steep Set. But one thing, because I know that people were asking about the landscape difficulty earlier and talking about the different levels. One thing to always keep in mind is that when you're in one of these little solo story instances, like I'm in the instance High Seat of the Dwarves, so it's a solo story content piece, landscape difficulty is not turned on while you're doing this. So all of a sudden, whereas before these guys were basically taking several hits, now they are dropping like flies, and they are not doing the Eye of Sauron effect or having the corruptions on them. So you will periodically have the landscape difficulty disabled when you're in certain types of content, either a group instance or one of these solo pieces. That does not break your leveling through with difficulty turned on fully for your character titles. That anytime it auto turns it off because of the content you're doing rather than you turning it off manually, you do not lose the ability to get those 10 to 50 and 50 to 130 titles. So Prince Durin has caught up to us because we cleared the stairs for him. And now we clear the way again, but this time Durin and his buddy are actually going to fight with us. So it's not just purely him relying on us to do the stuff. All right, come on, Durin. And now what we hope here is that this doesn't bug out. Because I have done this on multiple characters, and what I found is that I have the best luck letting Durin and his buddy here actually go in first and get a bit of aggro, rather than me running in and just immediately killing the enemies. There we go, okay. I've bugged this little instance out so many times by going ahead of them and killing that pack of orcs. And Durin and his buddy love to just stop right about here and never come in further and actually do this little scene here. So the instance basically is just stopped. All right, so here is Durin taking the throne in Steep Set. Which is just a cool little kind of like reclaiming, Gundabad. And obviously we haven't reclaimed all of it at this point. We're just making headway in, but it's a neat little moment here. All right, so talk to Durin again. And now we talk to Stolly.
Listen here. What words from Prince Durin stirred in me a desire to fight this body people, no matter the danger.
All right, and I just have to say, I love this kid name here. I don't think I've seen this one before. An Orchidae. Somebody gets a clap for that. That is well done with naming. Okay, so let's see. Quest rewards. What do we got? I don't think any of these are going to be... Yeah. That actually is going to be better than the Hero's Earring. Excellent. I'll take it. Did I replace the right one? Yes, I did. Okay, so we need to go... That's right, now we're going to find Eskel, because we have the whole... we have the whole apprentice storyline that we need to continue. So, yeah. I will make sure to grab the stable master here, and I should be able to, from here, just ride over to Imrith and head in and meet the next NPC.
Yes.
And while I am doing that, because it's been 2.5 hours, I am going to take the slow horse and take a quick break because I need to put the kettle on and make a cup of tea and get up and stretch my legs. Because if you have been sitting for this long, it's important to get up and stretch your legs periodically. All right, the kettle is turned on, so cup of tea is making. And hey, Poteen, good to see you, man. How much longer did you go for last night after I crashed out? I am hanging out here in Gundabad on my just now 1:30. And I am going through the storyline in here. Somehow I'm not surprised. I saw that that you're only like, an hour. Oh my goodness. Yeah. That's a heck of a run, man. No, I get that. I wanted to stay longer, but I had to crash out. It was a heck of a week here with work and then the stress of weather and burst pipes. So okay, we are looking for Eskil. So your current, if I remember right, is you're getting your characters to 65 is your new range? So I think you were saying that now that you had everybody to 60, you were going to bump them up to 65. Yeah, I basically just hit the wall last night of I need to crash. Oh, are you still working on Mariner Burglar's 60? Gotcha.
Oh, hello there, friend.
Okay, so we're going to observe Eskil's fighting form here and evaluate his chances. Let's see what he's got. He's got failing to hold on to his weapon successfully as his current state. I think you might have another course in life. But our task now is to find somebody who will teach Eskil how to at least not kill himself holding an axe. Oh, come on. Did I just stick myself in a rock? I just stuck myself in a rock, didn't I? I absolutely stuck myself in a rock. Oops. Well. This is where the /stuck command comes in handy. And I go pour myself a cup of tea while I wait for this timeout, because the kettle is just about to yell at me that it is ready. Lotro will, at all times, be Lotro, and something will go awry. And in this case, it is the texture of this pile of rocks. Don't stand right where I'm standing. Okay, fresh cup of tea is poured, and I am free. So, how far out did it yank me? Oh, it put me all the way over here, but I should be near the stable master. Which isn't bad, because I can go right back to Mergrind. which is where I was going to go anyway. And I wonder if I have... Nope, I am still way off rep-wise. Wanted to see if I had enough rep and everything else to start picking up some of the Travel 2 skills, because they make getting around Gundabad really convenient if you can get the travel skills rather than having to rely on milestones and horses. But you do need to have your rep up with the Reclaimers faction a decent chunk. Okay, and I want to go back to Imrith and tell Eskel that I have found him a teacher. And also, because I'm now actually at the keyboard and have a place where I can take a quick break and type stuff, because the command is working again finally. If there is actually anybody here who does not know Poteen, Poteen is an absolute madman who is currently running basically, I think, one of every class and leveling them in tandem through the same level range, basically going through and keeping all of his characters, aside from one, within a set level range, and it is an absolutely silly goal, and it is wonderful.
Trousty has agreed to teach me what he knows of combat? That is fine news!
Yep, Trousty will teach you, but you need to actually learn. That's going to be the tough part here. Man, I've been seeing a whole bunch of people I haven't seen before in this area, which means I am not the only one leveling a new alt through this zone. Okay, now I need to go meet with Stolly and break the news that his apprentice wants to learn how to hit stuff with an axe.
What? You're telling me my apprentice has not yet ventured into Deepscrave? Did you convince my apprentice not to enter Deepscrave? For shame.
Stolly is such a jerk. I kind of love this character because he is just so unrepentantly obnoxious. Yeah, no, we are not signing your contract, buddy.
Ah, it is nothing at all.
And I love how he immediately backs off of that, like, no, I didn't mean anything by it. It's cool. We're cool. Okay, go tell Durin what's going on.
We have secured Matugar. Now it is time to push beyond these halls.
Okay, so we're going to go further on. We're into Deepscrave now as our next target. So the road into Deepscrave is going to be, again, we're going to ride back through to Imreth.
Aye?
The stable masters here and their mounts get an absolute workout with the amount of back and forth that you do in the Gundabad story. Now the fun thing here is that it's not just defeat orcs. We need to scout out 3 different points along the main structural beam of the area we're going to. And I always get lost trying to find one of them. So this is going to be watching and laughing as Stans tries to remember where he's actually going. But Gundabad just has such cool scenery. Like, the design in here is amazing. A lot of it I really think is stuff that they wanted to be able to do when they were making Moria, but just didn't have the engine and resources yet to do that, you know, a decade back and change. But the scope and scale of the place is just amazing. Okay, so we're now in the Bergbeam, and I will need to find the lower, middle, and upper ranges of it, and not stand in the Eye of Sauron. Remember to get my anthem going, which I am terrible about. I seriously just like need an actual reminder, not just my buff bar showing me. Okay, do I have any more? Yep. Gonna pick on as many goblins and orcs right around here as I can get, because when they're gone, it will make the quest marker easier to follow for the beam locations. Okay, so this is the upper portion of the beam, so I've got that taken care of. I still need to find the midpoint and the lower point of the beam. And this is inevitably where I fail, get lost, or get distracted. Nope, don't slow me. Getting slowed when you're trying to get out of one of the Eye of Sauron bombs is just a jerk move. I also do appreciate the fact that this Drake whelp was like 5 feet away from this dwarf scout right here. Dwarf didn't do a single thing about it. Just, no, it's cool. It's dragons hanging out by our spot here. Nothing wrong with that.
Our need is
Okay, now I think the middle beam location is down around the corner here and tucked away in the little niche. So there's this hidden spot back here. Yep. This is one of the ones that I think this is the one, if I remember right, that I always forget and go past. So now I need to keep going down and take the stairs down this way, not the ramp on the other side. That's the other thing that I constantly mess up when I'm in here, is taking the wrong way down. This keeps you on the berg beam and lets you go around this side and find the other spot that I need to investigate. So I think this might actually be the only time I ever do in one go a successful investigation. Okay, any more goblins around here? None this way, but there is an orc here, and he will count. For once, I'm actually behind on my kills rather than my exploration. So I want to make sure I still keep searching for these guys and getting them, because that's only 5 of 12. Normally there's more on this platform, but this time around, whelps and drakes. So, if I remember right, this thin stairway that is really easy to fall off if you're going quickly is our last stop. It's a great place to just launch yourself off the edge of that. And there we go. Seriously, you netted me right as I killed you. That is just rude. All right, here's our last debris pile to check. So this is legitimately, I think, a first for me of getting all of the exploration locations before I kill all of my goblins and orcs. I think the orcs down on the low level still count towards the 12 kills I need. So I should be able to dip into one of these little side areas and get my last few. Deep's Crave Warrior. Yep, looks like you count. Whenever possible, and if you have any quest that is a go kill X number of this thing, if you can find a camp of them rather than running around finding them one by one, always better. And this place does have several of these little side camps here, which should be populated with orcs. Burn spider corpses. How many do I need? Okay, it's only going to ask for 5. I will do the side quest. Trying to do a minimal side questing run here. But I'm in a good place as far as progress with the quest, because I'm already into the point where I'm doing yellow quests, so I'm not out leveling the quests yet, which means I'm in no danger there for the moment. That is what inevitably is going to happen, though. Okay, so that is all of my orcs and goblins. And I don't see any spider corpses right near me. So I might just nope out of that one and go right back to the main quest. Sorry, side quest. You're just gonna get canceled. So I need to go all the way back to Mergrind to turn this one in. I don't turn it in up here, but the stables are up here. So still where I need to go. But again, the Gundabad quest design is so much do a thing in one area. All right, go back to the area you just came from to turn it in and talk to somebody. Now go back to the area you just quested in. Now go back to the area you just got the quest from. There's a lot of back and forth. Okay, Stable Master is this way. Back to Mergrind to hand in the gem I just got. Right, go talk to Stolly and continue to make him unhappy, which is kind of my goal in life currently.
What have you found? What have you found? I understand you have a report for the prince. Do not let me keep you.
Just such a jerk. I love it.
from Deep's Grave? How fares the Berg Beam?
Okay, so predictably, we're going to get sent right back to where we just came from to go do a set of tasks slightly further away. But that is how questing in Gundabad goes. So much back and forth. Alright, so I'm gonna go infiltrate a camp. And yeah, this is the way I want to go. It's down a level, then across the across this span. Yeah, it's always funny how in the Lotro community you run into a lot of familiar faces stream to stream, don't you? It's one of the things about hanging around in a what is ultimately a small directory in the grand scale of Twitch, right? Oop. Get out of the bad so I don't get bombed. This lizard just does not want to die. Okay, so the first pile of papers I'm going to search is going to be up on this platform here. Clear out the sentries and the who's-its and the whatnots. And this is another one of those places where they couldn't quite figure out how to make these steps properly climbable, so you can get up them in some locations, and in other locations you basically just ineffectually jump at them and nothing happens. Lotro is a cranky and weird game engine. Okay, search through this pile of parchments, which draws the attention of an orc who does not want me digging through their stuff. The next pile is going to be in this camp. So rather than going around, I'm just going to fight my way through it. I think there are some auto bestows that should hit in here. But I might have to be deeper in, or it might be from that side quest chain that I ignored. I think that might be the case here. And yeah, the signatures with landscape difficulty on and middling gear, shall we say, definitely can be a little rough. Has nothing at all whatsoever to do with the skill of the player at the keyboard, clearly. Okay, so this paper had a diary. And now I'll go to the other side of the camp here and get my last set of papers to dig through. The nice thing about playing with landscape difficulty on is that you actually have to pay a little bit of attention to your pulls in some of the places like this, especially when they're higher level and have the signatures mixed in. And where they do jerk things like net you so you can't run and get distance. And I've definitely let my food run out. Fix that real quick. I was wondering why my out-of-combat health regen was so bad. Because I have not been keeping up on eating food. All I have on this character right now is just the, like, junk bread that they give you. I should actually at some point in time swap over to my cook and make some food for this level range. Because that would absolutely make a lot of this just so much quicker if I had appropriate level. I just purged that corruption and he put it right back on. That was not nice. But yeah, if I had appropriately leveled food for those buffs, that would also be a lot better. But I'm almost through the camp. And heck, if nothing else, these guys count towards the Slayer deed. That's rough. I always fight that whenever I make a new the characters, the tough decisions of what class, and then what are you going to name the character? The two toughest decisions in most RPGs. I mean, my answer is almost always going to be go with the champ, but I am in no way, shape, or form unbiased there, so I would not trust anything I say. And I was standing too close to the edge of that circle. That was not well played on my part. I should absolutely not have gotten hit by that Sauron bomb. It's funny because I have never been a person who plays melee DPS specifically in MMOs. Like, always it was I play whatever class has a heal button. Like that was the running joke forever, which is what class what class is Dan's going to play. He's going to play the heal button. Whatever class is attached to the heal button is mine. And at some point in time, I made a champ basically just to goof off, and I think my champion was originally intended to be a character that I basically did the like start to finish, just go through and do all of the epic storylines. I've made a few attempts at doing that, and I just get distracted every time and accidentally level the character instead. And for whatever reason, I just absolutely fell in love with the champion. It's been my main for a number of years now. This is the only game where that was kind of the case. But I do really love the champ. And I am in no way, shape, or form unbiased in recommending the champ. I like the gameplay loop of that they have, where they have the step out of the bomb. I like their gameplay loop of the building and spending fervor, and the decision making of, it's not a rotation that you use so much as it is a scaling priority as far as what abilities you want to prioritize and use at any time. And they're a good, versatile, survivable solo adventuring class. You've got the benefit of wearing heavy armor, so your mitigations are relatively easy to keep up. You have a lot of options, especially in Redline, for being relatively self-sufficient in your ability to proc self-heals to keep yourself going. And while having that access to self-healing, you also still maintain a really good, strong uptime of damage. So unlike other survivability classes, you're not whittling away enemies as you progress. You're actually legitimately a damage machine that just also has some survivability to go along with it, not the other way around.
Durin's folk shall endure, as we always have.
It just ended up being a class that clicked for me, which was really weird because melee DPS has really never been my thing in other MMOs. Plus, I like the ability to drop into blue line and tank as well.
You found a great deal of information among the dwellings of the orcs, I see.
Yeah, actually, champs can be really solid tanks. They don't have the best reputation as tanks, and a lot of that is from people remembering them from various other points in the game. There was definitely a rough patch where blue line champion tanks were incredibly niche, but at this point, with a recent patch that fixed their aggro generation, because our additional aggro generation from just general damage that was supposed to be, if you were blue line spec, you were supposed to be getting a bonus for that, was not working properly. When they fixed that, a blue line champ, especially if you've got decent mitigations, is actually a really solid tank. You don't have much in the way of things like group buffs that you throw out while you're tanking, like a captain tank does, and you don't have quite as much just overwhelming snap aggro that a Guardian has as a tank, but you have more damage output generally than either of those two. You have access to stuns, which is really nice as a tank, and you have a ton of self-survivability cooldowns that you can cycle through. So I really like the champ tank because it is very reactive.
It is my fault.
Okay, so now we go, predictably, back where we just came from. Who saw this one coming?
Have you a moment?
Yeah, another thing that I really like about the champion is that you have 3 distinct specs, yellow line, red line, and blue line, all of which are very distinct from one another in their strengths and kind of what they do, but all of them still feel like a champion. You don't feel like you're playing a different class, but red line is still very distinctly different from yellow line in your damage dealing and what you have, which is distinct from blue line in your tanking. So they have a really good balance they did there in class design, where the mix of mechanics versus class fantasy. Yeah, I'm really hoping that, and I do imagine that being a metalsmith and having access to being able to make your own heavy armor would definitely help while you're leveling. I really hope that they go back over the crafted gear and maybe give a pass to making it better.
We were attacked just over there.
All right, so we're going to go do some detectiving after we get rid of this sentry. Yeah, I do use crafted gear on alts periodically, but at this point, a lot of the time I use it more as kind of fill-in gear. And what I use a lot more, just because I tend to have access to it, is the gear that you can get with motes of enchantment. Like the purple bound to account leveling gear. Which, while I love having the access to them, it has unfortunately had the side effect of making a lot of the low-level and mid-level crafting professions just a little less useful. Alright, go tell Trousty that we found some blood in a cut rope.
Fate remains uncertain, but there is reason to hope for his survival.
Alright, so now we're going to go look for Eskel all the way up to the north of the zone there. And if I remember right, it's actually easier to go around this way. Because if you go this way and cut around, you don't have to fight through that goblin camp. And going this way, we can pretty much just run off of any mobs. And we can also just take this book nabber real quick, because he will drop a quest item starter. those slows are obnoxious. Let me retreat here real quick. And take this. So there is a currency that you get periodically for doing various things called Motes of Enchantment. And so right now I have 6,610 out of the cap of 10,000. And you can... I probably even have some of it hanging around someplace. Let's take a look. Okay, yeah. So you can use the Motes of Enchantment to buy these coffers of travelers' gear. You can buy jewelry, weapons, or armor, and you buy them in either might, meaning they're heavy or might statted, medium, so they're agility statted, or light, meaning that they're going to be will statted. And in these, you basically get a selectable, hey, get me one of these gear pieces. And so these really help you fill out gaps in your gear, as well as the fact that they don't bind to your character, they are bound to your account, which means you can do things like, if you get a level 4, if you spend the motes and buy a piece of level 40 heavy armor, when you've leveled past that, you can stick it in your bank and hand it down to your next heavy armor wearer who hits level 40 and needs a piece of gear for that. Or if you need the room, you can just disenchant them and get a few of the Motes of Enchantment back out of it. But if you do a lot of stuff that relatively regularly gets you those Motes of Enchantment, you can get stuff like that rather than relying on crafted gear. And so that can end up kind of taking the place of crafting for a lot of level ranges. Okay, let me go turn in the book that I just got from that guy. So yeah, 1,400. I'm pretty sure that's enough to buy you a piece of gear. I believe that the moat, that there's a Motes of Enchantment merchant in Bree by the Boar Fountain. I normally go to the Elderslade War Room. Oh, hey, awesome. Yeah, I actually realized that I've been getting way too close to 50 to keep ignoring it. So, yeah, thank you, Stormy, for being number 50, which means I actually should start doing things, I suppose. Damn, I suppose that means I actually have to start taking this nonsense seriously. Okay. We're looking for somebody here I'm turning this into. I just am completely overlooking where my quest NPC is. Okay, this is the game of Stanza's Blind. I need Lore Master Rooney. Oh, he's over by the Stable Master, isn't he? Ah. It's because his ring blends into the his ring blends into the textures behind him. That's why I was not seeing him. Okay, so I'm just gonna say that the death I had was not me being, inattentive and not paying attention. It was me taking a shortcut back to turn in this quest. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Now, yep, exactly. That's one of the things that that I was touching on there. But it is a great thing to always emphasize, and that's why you could Like if you get one of those, you can stash it like, a piece of level 40 heavy armor. You can level out of that and then just put it in your bank and hand it down to your next heavy armor wearer that hits level 40. And I have a character whose traditional role has just been being a bank for a ton of that account bound armor and weapon and jewelry pieces of various level ranges, so that I'm never without good gear on leveling alts. It's really useful, but the catch to it is that it does sort of lessen the importance of crafting during your leveling process, which is good and bad. But yeah, man, if you've got 1,400 motes, I would check in with one of the vendors and see what you can get. And let's see if I can just run these guys off on my way to the quest objective. Hopefully they don't kill my horse. Another thing that I like about that gear compared to a lot of the crafted gear is Standing Stone Games has not 100% gone back and readdressed the crafted gear at all of the various levels, having updated stats on it. So I've noticed that a lot of, man, these guys just want to keep dropping bombs. I've noticed that a lot of crafted gear in various level ranges just does not have a good stat spread or stat budget to it, where the adventurer's gear in general is well statted. I think to the left there, tucked in that corner, is one of the little collectibles. So I'm going to take care of this whelp here and then go take a peek. Yep, here's a treasure cache. That got me a Gleaming Helm of Determination, which, if I was a heavy armor user, would actually be a decent piece, but oh well. I wonder how close I am to... Okay, good. I've still got room. 29 out of 60 tokens of heroism. I have the really bad habit of not paying attention to that and capping those before I turn them in. And since I've forgotten and playing with difficulty on, I may as well pay attention to that. All right, so we searched the Goblin House.
Cowardly eyes are upon us.
And we roar to scare out the goblin. Yeah, while you're leveling, the epic quality ones are definitely the way to go. I don't see the point unless you're just absolutely overflowing with motes for some reason of buying teal leveling gear. The epic is almost as good and you can buy so much more of it. It just makes more sense. One thing that I really like using it for, just because I have bad luck finding well-statted pieces, is getting the jewelry with them. because that's in a lot of level ranges. That's been my big struggle, is getting good jewelry and using those boxes to fill in and find solid jewelry pieces has been just an absolute godsend.
We learned something useful. I do not know much about Vatugrom.
All right, so now we're going and meeting Trousty back by the Berg Beam, and we're gonna keep looking for Eskel. I really think that what I might end up doing on this character, just because the intention is to level them through here, is I might go back and turn off landscape difficulty just to make this a little bit more of a cruise. No, they don't continue to level with your character. So they will be whatever level. Oh, I wanted to go up. They will be whatever level your character is when you select them from the box and acquire them. So if you're level 58 and you open one of the boxes, you will get a level 58 item. Which also means that if you're like really close to leveling, like you only have a bubble or two to go, level first, then open your box and pick a piece of gear, because it'll be just slightly higher. I have been unhorsed or unboard. But doing various things like the weekly mission wrappers, for example, those will give you like 500 motes apiece for the 15 and 45 weekly missions. Wow, this guy just ran straight past the guards. That was not good guarding. But doing those weekly mission wrappers, for example, those will give you like 500 motes apiece. Ooh, yes, good call. This week's code is Steel Key. And one of the reasons why that is a good call out during this conversation is that if you have adventurers loot boxes that you've been stashing up, those frequently have motes or embers in them, depending on what character level you're opening them on. Okay, so... Oh, I need to go all the way down to the base of the beam to meet Trousty, because he's going to do his rescue plan now. But yeah, that's a really good call out, Stormy, especially with the conversation around motes and such. Is if you use the code for a free steel key from the Lotro store, you might just get yourself a nice handful of those. I think I went down the wrong ramps. I think this is the stupid way around. Yeah, I think the other ramp would have been quicker, but whatever. This still gets me there. All right, Trousty, where are you at? There you are. Okay, we're gonna go do the rescue quest.
Keep your eyes open for my axe as well.
And just like the little solo instance where I was going up the stairs and clearing out the way into Steep Set for Durin, because this is a story solo instance, it has turned off the landscape difficulty. So I'm back on cruise control in here. Which means the orcs now more or less just pop. And we get to question this orc warrior as to what happened here and get attacked. I forgot to ask him about my axe. We were too busy killing him. That'll happen. Look, Trousty, I'm really sorry, but I'm going to kill these guys before you get the chance to question them. Like, it's just not going to happen here, buddy. None of them know anything anyway. I promise. I love that he says, I hope we find it soon, talking about his axe. Oh, and Eskel too. Like, wow. Okay, so he's going to break him out while I make sure he stays safe. All right, we've killed all the reinforcements who came when we opened the cage, and no missing axe. But we did get Eskel back, our kind of screw up apprentice. All right, and now we really get into the meat of the Eskel and Fastreth story. This is where this starts kind of taking off.
You again for the rescue.
Might I have a moment of your time?
Help me find some loophole in their agreement.
Aye, that's the spirit.
All right, so we're gonna go dig through Boyo's luggage, find the contract, and see if we can find a loophole to get Eskel out of the stupid contract he signed. Which again, you know, further reasons, don't sign stuff without reading all of it. So we find no contract, but we hear somebody approaching. It's Stolly, who heard us going through his stuff.
I know why you're here.
And yes, he doesn't just keep the contract where any old person can find it. So we examine the contract. And it's so much legalese. Just so much legalese.
It sounds bad, doesn't it?
And Eskel sees no way out of it, but Fastreth says, well, what about that section there where he can nominate a substitution?
A substitute apprentice? I don't know about this.
And now we go see if Durin's on board with our plan of switching out Eskel for Fastreth. Fastreth being far, far more capable and reliable than Eskel is.
I thought I saw you here.
Okay, so let's see. We want to get our will pocket item.
Then let us return. The conquest of the mountain home will wait no longer.
Okay, so this is automatically going to teleport us when we go. And we're back to Mergrand.
The time has come to push deeper into Gundabad.
Okay, yep, so now is we're being sent to the Pit of Stonejaws, and that's going to be all the way up here. So Zidr Nassad will be the closest stable, and then we can ride the rest of the way. I'm getting awfully close to 132, which is my goal for the day. Let's get this character to level 132, then I'll probably start looking at what I want to do as far as additional gear. Let's see, road out of here is this way. If I remember right, it is a slightly odd road because the map looks like it would go down here, but that is a goblin camp, which I don't want to just ride through. So we're going to go around this way, which is still mobby, but not goblin camp mobby. And I should have stairs down someplace around here. Here we go. And that will let me curve around and pick the road back up over here. Just hope I don't get dismounted. Don't mind me, just passing through. And here's my next little camp, which I think has a stable master. Yes, here he is. And going to keep ignoring the side quests and look for Bosi.
Welcome, my friend. Are you here to lend us your aid?
Because of course Bori went on ahead. So we're going to go look for Bori ahead and defeat 8 creatures.
Welcome, my friend. Are you here to lend us your aid?
So I might as well just basically start right on with finding stuff to kill. Remember to get my anthem up and running, which I am terrible at. Oh, lag on a minstrel sucks because the mob keeps moving towards you, but you can't fire off your abilities and keep distance. That's just not cool. Yet another reason why I often like the heavy armor classes over the tactical classes is that extra bit of survivability and mitigation makes those little lag spikes not quite as bad. Because you're usually already fighting in melee range and not relying on the game being responsive and allowing you to keep them at a distance, and you can take a hit or 5. Not that I'm biased. Okay, I need 3 more creature kills and to find Bosi. Greet the other person who's here leveling. In some very fancy gear. And a really cool goat. Okay, had about 8 million debuffs on me there. Yeah, that is a very fancy goat. Let's see. Think they were possibly looking for a group or a duo, but unfortunately, I am probably not going to be in here for as long as they're planning to be. So I don't want to get tied up in something and end up dragging them. Do I have any essences that would go well in that? Finesse? Oh, definitely finesse. Leaving gear unessenced. Seriously. Yeah, they're also significantly ahead of me in the story. They're on 7.5, and I'm only on 7.1. So we're definitely not doing the same stuff in here. And there is our run-ahead dwarf. Okay, who is chasing me still? Bat. Bat is chasing.
Hail, friend. Are you here to study the tombs and the houses of rest?
I mean, I wasn't, but you just asked me to, so I am now. So, yeah, basically just need to head up here because we really only need to find the one. And let's see if I can just run past these guys. So that was a not so much. Matter of fact, that was probably an I'm gonna die. Oh, that Eye of Sauron. That was just the worst timing. That could have gone better. But I think that with that particular death, that is going to be where I stop for the day. Because it's been a long one already, and I need to actually do crazy things like eat and make sure that everything is prepped again for the freeze that we're going to get overnight again. So I got to make sure that everything is set so that I don't burst another pipe and have to pay the plumber even more money, because that's always fun. Let's see who is online and streaming. Oh, awesome. Aubrey is on. So what I'm going to do is we're going to go over to Aubrey. She is playing Lotro as well. We're going to go scare her. So everybody, say hi to Aubrey if you don't already know her.